This past weekend, a sequel to one of Radio Silence's best films, Ready or Not, titled Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, released into theaters. I finally checked it out just a couple of days ago. I'm about 4 days, 5 days, 6, 7 days late to this review. But I still want to talk about the movie, so I'm going to give you my review for Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, here on the channel. Before I dive in, if you would subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell. Comment down below, what are your opinions on Ready or Not 2, if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, do you like the first one? Are you anticipating the second film? I saw the first Ready or Not literally like 12 hours before I saw Ready or Not 2. And it was a movie on my watch list for years and years and years, and now that I finally watched it, I loved it. It's one of my favorite Radio Silence films, and I am just in general a massive fan of Radio Silence. I love what they did with the Scream movies. Abigail's a really great vampire movie, and like I said, Ready or Not, the first film, was absolutely awesome. With that said, Ready or Not 2, I don't want to call it disappointment. I also can't say it is awesome or, like, just as great as the first movie. It's fine. I can't say I really liked it, like loved it, but I didn't dislike it at all. It's a fine movie. Starting off with the positives, obviously you got the cast. Samara Weaving in here obviously is so much fun, like she is in everything she is in. She has so many good screams that makes her like the modern scream queen, in my opinion. You just listen to the way she screams in these movies and you're like, yeah, that's a scream queen. Alongside her, you got Catherine Newton being thrown into the mix, and they have good chemistry. I kind of wanted a little bit more from their characters and their chemistry. A lot of it was just them arguing like, you left when I was young. Well, I left for a good reason, and like we'll get to the script issues here in a little bit, but personally for me, I wasn't really a fan of their arcs in the film, but they are a lot of fun, have some really good chemistry on screen. The rest of the supporting cast is quite good as well. The thing that elevates the first movie to be phenomenal is the supporting cast and how fun each character is. And while this movie doesn't have as good of a supporting cast, like Henry Sozecki in the first movie, who was awesome, this movie still has a really good cast. The standouts for me, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Sean Hattasey, who are just absolutely wonderful in this movie, have great chemistry, are funny. Speaking of it being funny, the movie does have a good funny bone. You watch that first movie, it's laugh out loud. This one also has sequences where you can laugh out loud. It has the Radio Silence isms. It has the blood, the gore, the comedy, the watchability. I'm sure this movie will be very rewatchable. The cast, it has all of that makes just a very fun Radio Silence movie. Speaking of the blood and gore, this movie cranks it up to 11. And while I don't think it's as fresh or original as that first film, I do really enjoy the gore. Once we get into the game, it's kind of like an hour of just non-stop action fight killing scenes, which are just really, really fun. As always, sit back, turn your brain off action sequences. There's one involving a really, really good needle drop about as we enter into the third act of the movie. That's a lot of fun. People die in interesting ways. There is some of what they could do in the first movie where they're taking individual sequences and kind of just throwing other things in there to just elevate the sequences a few times throughout the movie. Not a whole lot, but there is some of that in there. And I even like the new lore they threw for the game. While I think that it could have been delivered to us in a much better way than it was, I honestly did enjoy the lore and was like, that's a compelling way to keep up a sequel. Along those ways, probably my favorite part of the movie is the final 30 minutes of the movie, where it kind of takes this franchise, which second movie in started to feel a little bit repetitive, and kind of did something original and different in the third act. What I loved about it is it's kind of a third act that wraps up this series, wraps up the issue for our lead character in a satisfying way. In a way that I didn't quite expect to be wrapped up. It has a little bit of the throwing in all the unique things for the scene. You got the exploding bodies. You got the rules that make quite a bit of sense in the context. I thought it was very fresh in the way that the third act and the conclusion of the film was handled. So overall, I had a good enough time with this movie. It's got everything that you'd want from a sequel. It's got more of all the stuff you got from the original movie. The issue here is it's just not as fresh. You watch this movie and you sit back and you don't have as much fun with it as you did with the original. Whether it's just the cast not being as positive as the first movie, or it's a script, which is a huge issue here. Not only do I think the script holds it back, kind of goes to like the basic premise like this, where like, yeah, we're going to give you plenty of blood and gore, but we're not going to do it in a special way that the first movie did. Or you get the dialogue here, which is really rough. I already touched a little bit on, like, the dialogue between Samara Weaving and Kathryn Newton is all just them complaining because they left each other and just, like, fighting in the middle of a fight, which is just completely stupid and bonkers. But as much as I like the new lore, the way it was delivered to us was quite literally them being tied up, somebody walking in the room and being like, all right, here's the rules. You're gonna get hunted, winner gets to be the head of the table, and just for like 10 straight minutes, just a big exposition dump, and every time we learn something else, it's just an exposition dump. Whether it's the backstory between Grace and Faith's characters, or whether it's the rules, or whether it's a change in the rules, it is all an exposition dump. And not only that, it comes at the worst times in the film. Like, we'll be getting to the third act and our characters will just get into a fight, or the hunt will just begin and they're just sitting out in the woods as soon as the hunt begins, not even like, oh, we're gonna get hunted. They're just like, I can't believe you left me when I was a kid. Like, the dialogue was really rough, and just the pacing of the movie, it was at a breakneck pace, but the dialogue and story needed a better script to fully enhance that. And like I said, the movie is nowhere near as fresh as that original Ready or Not film. You watch the original Ready or Not film, and it is just so unique, so interesting. And you watch this film, and it's fun, it's watchable, but like I mentioned, it has script issues. It's really like paced in a really odd way, breakneck speed. Doesn't really have time to let our characters flesh. So, it's not as fun as that first movie. If I watch a Ready or Not film, if I sit back and I'm like, I want to watch Ready or Not, I'm going to watch the first movie. I'm hardly ever going to click on Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, because the first movie was just awesome. It's probably my favorite radio silence movie, and this one is just a fine action movie. Before I give you my final score on Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, if you would, hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the bell. And if you would, go follow me on TikTok at Zach Dollar Films. I am going to change my YouTube name to that very soon. Follow me on TikTok or Letterboxd at ZachDFilmsYT. Follow me on Twitter at Zach Movie Chat. I don't know how to change my username, so it's my old YouTube name. But follow me on all my social medias. That would be greatly appreciated. And with that said, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come is fun. It's highly watchable, but it just doesn't have the freshness or uniqueness of that original movie, and it's just not as fun of a watch. With that said, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come is going to get a B from me, and if you like that first movie, you could definitely check out Ready or Not 2, Here I Come when it comes to streaming at home. Thank you guys for clicking on this review. Stay tuned very soon. Daredevil Born Again has started back up, and I'm going to start the episode reviews. And with that said, subscribe.